I can be sad, I can be good, or I can be bad. It all depends on you.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. If you're a regular here at the blog, you'll know that Terence Davies' Sunset Song was one of my favourite films of last year, a superb adaptation of Lewis Grassic Gibbon's classic novel. I loved it in the cinema, and Sunset Song has just arrived on DVD. I thought this would be a perfect opportunity, and I can't believe I haven't done this before, to give you my Terence Davies top 5. At number 5, House of Mirth, an adaptation of a novel by Edith Wharton, whose Age of Innocence was brought to the screen by Martin Scorsese.
Mr. Selden, what luck.
Now, I remember seeing House of Mirth at the Edinburgh Film Festival and being completely blown away by it, particularly by the performance of the film's star Gillian Anderson. I was surprised to discover sometime later that apparently Anderson and Davies had not got on well. Their relationship on set was frosty, and yet somehow that seems to have brought the best out of both of them. Perhaps from conflict comes great art.
If you would forgive your enemy, first inflict a hurt on them.
At number 4, Sunset Song, a love story but also a love song to the land, and a film in which song is incredibly important, as indeed it is in all of Terence Davies' movies. Agnes Dane is terrific in the central role, and despite some carping about the accents, I have to say, with an outsider's ear, it all sounded pretty authentic to me. The film also looks wonderful, shot using a mixture of digital and 65mm by Michael McDonough, who won the Kermode Award for Best Cinematography.
When the time comes, there's no one can stand and help you.
On to number 3, and this was a bit difficult. It was a toss-up for me between Distant Voices, Still Lives and The Long Day Closes from 1992. In many ways, those two films are two sides of a single whole. I'm going for The Long Day Closes simply because, personally, it's the film that made me first fall in love with Terence Davies. It's the first Terence Davies film that I reviewed. The story is set in Liverpool in the 1950s, highly autobiographical, the story of a young boy, his loving mother and his siblings. I remember watching the film and absolutely falling in love with it and wanting to go back and find out more about Terence Davies' previous work. Which takes us back to 1983 and my choice for number 2, the Terence Davies trilogy. Now, I know I'm cheating here somewhat because that isn't technically a feature film, it's actually a trilogy of short films, Children, Madonna and Child, and Death and Transfiguration, compiled together in 1983 to form what is now known as the Terence Davies trilogy. This is important because this is the work that put Terence Davies on the map. This was the work that first announced him as a major talent. And since then, he has shown nothing but developing on that promise. Terence Davies is one of those filmmakers who started off making brilliant work and somehow just got better.
Oh, how I need someone who'll watch over me.
All of which brings me to the number 1 spot, the Terence Davies film which I love above all others, Of Time in the City, a documentary about Liverpool and about his own life. The extraordinary thing about Of Time in the City was it was made in 2008, a full 8 years after making The House of Mirth, despite the fact that he had gone from strength to strength. Somehow, sometime around the turn of the century, he lost the ability to finance films. He did indeed say at one point he thought his filmmaking career was over. He thought he would never make a feature film again. Of Time in the City was the film that brought him back, that re-announced him to the world. I remember seeing the film, and I've said this so many times before, at the Cannes Film Festival with Mark Cousins sitting next to me, laughing and crying and swooning at the joy of seeing Terence Davies back at the top of his game. It wasn't that he ever made films that were substandard. It was that somehow the world forgot about him. Somehow the world forgot that you need to fund films like this. For me, Of Time in the City is his greatest work, but I have no doubt that in the future he will do even better.
We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and to know the place for the first time. Through the unknown remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. a condition of complete simplicity, costing not less than everything.
Of course, the good news is that since Of Time in the City, Terence Davies has been on a roll. Since then, he's made Deep Blue Sea, Sunset Song, and recently A Quiet Passion, a film about Emily Dickinson, which I haven't seen yet. It's played at a festival and it opens here in September. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to what Terence Davies does next. What about you? What have I missed out? Maybe you're the person who really loves Neon Bible above all Terry Davies titles. Let me know.